The Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, which is based in Barbados, has presented some positive news for the tourism sector in most of the heavily dependent tourism based economies of the Eastern Caribbean. Any recovery, however, may have a positive result as there could be the construction of additional infrastructure and other real estate sort of facilities, and this would enhance employment. There is nevertheless the necessity to be realistic in that there could be implications should there be any further weakening of the euro, as European visitors account for around 14% of stayover arrivals in the Caribbean and more so in the Eastern Caribbean. For regional commodity exporters, there would be concerns if there are further declines in commodity prices. Fiscal policies and debt management could therefore be seriously affected. And again, on the positive side, lower energy costs could produce inflationary pressures so that governments could reduce expenditure on fuel subsidies where they are applicable, thus freeing up resources for more social-based programs. The realities, colleagues, are however the following. Poverty is still too widespread, even in the more developed economies. Growth will have to be more inclusive and sustainable. Unemployment, especially among the youth, is far too high. Crime and violence are far too prevalent, with some governments being unable to address the trend, and they have come out openly to say so. Infrastructure are aging or non-existent, with little resources to address the concerns. Legislative measures which are required to update systems and policies cannot be adequately implemented because some countries, unfortunately, lack the resources to draft such legislative measures. Natural hazards are unpredictable, so preparedness must remain a key policy directive. The private sector, and this is to be noted, has not been coming up to the plate to invest in the region in the socio-economic areas. This trend must be reversed, and there must be an increase in public-private sector partnerships, and this is seen in certain of the countries, but more needs to be done. Money laundering. This is yet another challenge, and is an issue which all CARICOM states are facing. There are, and there has, however, been cooperation among members and support from external agencies. Markets. Is it enough for CARICOM states to engage in intra-regional trade, or should markets be sought in Latin America, North America, or elsewhere? What exactly, though, do we have to export that is unique, and can the standards be met along with the quantities expected? It is not uncommon to see Trinidad and Tobago products in Caribbean markets or even in Central America, and this is because of the amount of resources spent by these firms in their export trend and in their marketing strategies. It is also accepted that Trinidad and Tobago private sector companies in the service sector have bought out firms in other Caribbean states because they have the wherewithal, they have the experience, and they have the capital. As one country can do it, the issue is then, why can't the others? Is it because they do not have the resources as the Trinidad and Tobago economy has? Or is it a matter of the use of what resources you have and look for opportunities wherever they arise? There is, however, one particular challenge which seems to defy a ready solution. That is intra-regional trade and logistics. Here I want you to take a close look again at the map of the Caribbean. And you would see that island hopping may appear to be easy, but this is far from the truth. The map will show that even though they are close, the reality is that it takes a very long time to move around the Caribbean. Any effort, therefore, to re-energize the integration process must include a vast improvement in transport, not only by sea, but by air. And this will serve to enhance the movement of people, goods, and services around the region, and so, as one colleague has said, tap into the growth potential of global value chains. CARICOM has an approximate population of over 16 million persons. In 2009, 12 member states introduced the CARICOM passport. The OECD states have joined the CSME so that there are positive events taking place. The community, however, may have inbuilt similarities which tend to make integration that much easier, but which also tend to separate us in many different ways. These are hurdles which must be overcome, and the sooner the better. They should be changed so that all member states would receive some sort of material benefit. The use of ICTs and social media, cultural exchanges, for example, through one of our popular events called CARIFESTA. This brings all the cultural icons of all the Caribbean countries together in one location where we learn from each other. There must also be the free movement of people. There must be creative thinking among our leaders, both in the public and private sector. And there must be greater investment in our youth. All these together could see growth and meaningful development for all. I wish to end by encouraging all you students, all my young colleagues, to learn more about the Caribbean and the diversity in what we are about. It may seem as though we are similar because we have similar concerns, similar challenges, but when we look at each other, when we look at each Caribbean country, there are certain differences, and it is these differences that in one way keep us apart, but in another way which bring us together. Integration is a bread and butter matter, and there is no other way for us to maintain growth and development for our people unless it is through integration. The OECD countries have paved the way, even though there have been some challenges. But, for example, just think that these small countries were able to bring together and have a common currency because there were similarities which brought them together. This is one example that the wider Caribbean, through CARICOM, should take great advantage of. In closing again, I wish to thank you all for your patience in understanding what I have had to transmit. And should you require any additional information, please feel free to contact me through Professor Zand. I wish you all the best in your studies, and I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to come and experience the Caribbean, not the Caribbean that you see on television or on social media, but a region that you need to touch base with and experience our diverse people, our cultures, our geography, and just remember that we are unique and we bring to bear to the table, even though we are small, a great and significant amount of patience, tolerance, understanding, and a desire for a peaceful world. Thank you, and best wishes to all of you.